Welcome to a Bestow TV production. If you enjoy our content, please click the subscribe button. To get notifications of new releases, ring that bell. Thank you, and away we go.
Creative continuity at Motor City Comic Con. Get the latest news directly from cosplayers, artists, writers, and the occasional celebrity. Tune in for Creative Continuity's coverage of Motor City Comic Con. We bring the convention to you.
Talking with writer Duane Swierczynski. How'd you get into comics?
I actually started out as a novelist. I write crime novels, and at one point I wrote a fan letter to Ed Brubaker, of Captain America fame. I love this series Criminal, and I sent him a fan letter. He actually had bought one of my books that same week, and it was just very odd. He said, "Wow, ever for comics, let me know. I'll introduce you to my editor." I talked to his editor. We kind of hit it off and started pitching things, and from there it kind of blossomed over time into a second career. Yeah, well, I was actually published with St. Martin's Press. I did 3 or 4 crime novels, and it's just as hard as breaking into novels as it is breaking into comics. It just takes a lot of persistence, and for me, it was entertaining myself most of all. Write stories that you want to read, not necessarily what you think the market wants. So I think the same is true with comics. If you write comics you want to see on the stands, no matter what it is, if it's not a genre that is out there now, just go and do it. That's the key, I think.
And then do you think at that point people start to recognize you? And I mean, if you start showing people that you can produce a product, it's...
Absolutely, yeah. I think having something done under your belt, it goes a long way. I know editors who scout for new talent, they want to see that you've told the story from start, middle to end, and can do it, whether it be self-published or otherwise. Okay. That's a huge help.
So how did you mentioned you worked in St. Martin's Press, but you also mentioned you worked, you've also said you've done some journalism work.
Right,
how did that kind of transition you into wanting to tell long-form stories?
Yeah, it's funny. I started magazines. My hometown magazine in Philadelphia at first. Then I worked for Men's Health, where I was the unhealthy one. That was my job there. I was a beer-guzzling, unhealthy guy. I went to...
there's no problem with that, man.
No, I guess not. I went to Details magazine, which was a men's magazine. I was the uncool one there, and eventually went back to Philadelphia to write for the magazine and a newspaper. It taught me, I think, just how to be more precise with language. In print. That's the key, honestly. It makes you a better writer when you have an editor using red pen on your stuff.
After working with Brubaker, how did you break into the big companies?
Actually, I was lucky, very lucky. And the novels actually got me in the front door at Marvel, or the side door, I guess. And they knew I could tell a story, long form. And it was a matter of me pitching them ideas and seeing what they wanted to try me out on. I did a few tryout issues. I did a Punisher as a tryout, a Wolverine, and a Moon Knight, just to see what I would do with it. And once they kind of liked what I did, and it was reasonably happy, they offered me a chance at a series, which was Cable, was the first series. So that was, for me, it happened really fast. But I think it was because of the novelist thing. I was a novelist, had a long career in journalism, and it's not your usual path in the comics, but to me, it was having that finished work again.
So what of those characters or your Marvel work did you enjoy most working on?
For different reasons, all of them. Cable was fun because I liked, the sort of a father and daughter aspect of the series. I love Iron Fist because he's a kung fu billionaire kind of guy, and it's a great story machine. Tell any kind of story you want. But yeah, I actually don't really say yes to an assignment unless I love the character and want to do something crazy with it.
Gotcha. How'd you get to break into the very controversial? Now at least, with what's going on, the New 52.
Oh, it wasn't, for me it wasn't controversial. It was more an editor I knew had seen my work and just kind of called and said, hey, would you be interested in this series? And they don't really kind of call you up and say, here, it's yours. They want to say, what's your take on it? What would you do with these characters we're giving you? And kind of map it out a little bit. And they like it, they'll hire you. And if not, I'm pretty sure I've tried out other things and didn't get it. And I've learned later, I heard friends got the series. It's just who has to take the editors want at that certain time.
How did you go about approaching, kind of rebooting Black Canary as a character? I know you did the Zero issue and stuff, and you kind of paved ways for her and Batgirl to come back together in the series.
Right. I kind of just thought about who they were in relation to each other. What that sort of mix of friendship and teammates, and the idea that Canary was good friends with Starling, the new character, and they're also friends with Batgirl somehow. You start there with a core team or core nucleus of friends and kind of see others fit into that. Be you a villain or, Katana, in Katana's case, a damaged, kind of maybe mentally troubled individual.
And then she created Starling, which
I love her. Yeah, she's fun.
Did you essentially for the character you had this underlying theme that it was always going to be, she was going to turn eventually?
What's funny, she had her own agenda. Actually, my plans didn't involve her turning.
Okay.
It was more that she had her own agenda. She had this very deep spycraft background. Her uncle was a spy, possibly an insane spy. So I kind of wanted to explore it a little more. I was actually dying. I was wishing to do her own little mini-series at some point, but, maybe down the road.
What made you leave the series?
Honestly, declining sales, and I was let go. That happens. Wow. That really happens all the time. It's part of the process. Sales dip, and you want to try a new writer, try a new artist, and that's just. I knew that going into it. I'm actually happy I lasted 18 issues. It was a fun run.
Yeah. Were you happy with your successor, Christy Marks?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did you plan on her eventually ever teaming up with Mr. Freeze or any of that, or?
Not in my plans. No. I had different things in mind, but every writer has to bring their own story to it. I mean, when I do it for Gail, much beloved creator. I was really nervous about taking over in her wake, but she can be more kind to me and supportive, saying, just do your own thing, don't worry about it.
Did you have a lot of conversations with her prior to Bod?
Not prior, but during, when Batgirl did join the team, I made sure she was, of course, on the same page about that.
Yeah.
So
because you probably want the continuity and things and
absolutely, and just respect, just make sure that nothing conflicts.
Which artist have you enjoyed over your time on Birds of Prey? You've had Jesus Saiz,
brilliant,
Romano Molinar. Have you enjoyed specifically one?
They're all great for different reasons. I love Jesus. We co-created Starling, so I'll always be grateful to him. And it was fun launching the book with him. And outside of Birds of Prey, actually here at the con, there's a few artists I love. Manuel Garcia with Bloodshot, he's here. Met him for the first time here at the show, actually.
Oh, wow.
Worked together for a long time on Black Widow for a while, and a short Iron Man story. So it's every artist has his different strengths, just like writers.
Yeah. Do you have that? Do you find when working with Spanish artists that it's difficult in terms of communication?
It's really not at all, because in terms of Manuel, David Macho, his manager agent, you can talk through him.
Yeah.
The language barrier never is a problem, really, which is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you have coming up right now?
Right now, I'm just doing X for Dark Horse. It's a one-eye vigilante nutcase, which I love doing. I'm working on Judge Dredd for IDW, ongoing. And a new novel came out last month called Point and Shoot. It's part of a trilogy, starring an alcoholic house sitter named Charlie Hardy. So,
thank you, Mr. Swierczynski. I appreciate it. And this is Tommy Zimmer for Motor City Comic Con.
Questions for me that I didn't address that I can help you guys out with?
Well, let's say as a writer, you're really excited about a robot story.
Mm-hmm.
And you really like this person's work because you've seen them do robotics or some style.
Sure.
They're like, but I really want to draw dragons. It's like, but I have this robot story, but I really want to draw dragons.
You can't.
But if you don't have, but you don't know anybody else that you would want to work on that, as a professional writer, do you just have to get used to the idea of, we're going to shelve the story away and just work on the next one and just keep it in mind and it'll come up again?
Absolutely, yeah. You're exactly right. I call that square peg round hole syndrome. I have worked with artists who I know would do a phenomenal job. We would make bank if they would work on the story with me. But for whatever reason they don't want to, they can't, then you shelve it. It was funny, just a true story, just this morning, I have this story that I've been sitting on for a couple of years now. And this is going to be a story that I think is going to really take what I do to the next level. It's not a horror project. A story I'm very passionate about. And I've had several near misses with artists I think would be pretty good at it. And I've even had them draw the first 5 pages, and it looks cool, but it's not there, man. That's not quite it. And just this morning, I was thinking about something, and a name popped into my head of an artist I'm working with on some stuff, and I'm like, duh, Dirk, why don't you talk to this person about it? That project is at least 5 years old. You can't make anybody do anything. And even if they other people would be great at it, if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. So yeah, you shelve stuff and you move on. you know. I've been burning to tell this story. I wish I could tell you guys what it is, but I'm not going to yet. I've been burning to tell this story. But it's been sitting on the mental shelf for 5 years. I've given it to 3 or 4 different artists. 3 or 4 different artists have drawn like the first couple pages, you know, but it's not right. I'm very big on the art matching the story, or juxtaposing it the way I want to. I do a horror series called Tales of Mystery, and it's a very dark horror series, but I prefer a more non-gritty art style with it. And people are like, well, that juxtaposition is really weird. I'm like, yeah, but I like it. You know, I don't want it to be, you know, like the craggy, real horror style. I don't want that for this series. I want a little more noir, or more, dare I say, animated, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you do. You shelve it. It breaks your heart. It will break your heart. And you can show it to them, but if they don't want to do it, you shelve it, you find someone else when the time's right.
It's like when you're looking for an artist, like let's say you have a script, and like how do they know what you want to draw? Because let's say you have like a picture of like, you want someone like walking down a wall strip or something, but the box says it was a nice day or whatever. Like how would they know what to draw? Like what you have in mind?
What I do when I write a script, and I have script samples in the book as well, but real simple. 1.1, page 1, panel 1. Very nice young girl is walking down the aisleway of the mall. It's a crowded mall. There are a couple of people scattered about. Again, notice it's not super crowded because you got to draw a lot of people. But you know, she's walking down the mall. I picture this kind of a bigger panel. She's walking down the mall. Okay. Panel 2. Reverse the angle. We are now in front of the girl, and we can see behind her that a zombie is shambling up behind her. She doesn't see it because she's rocking out to Katy Perry and her earbuds. Doesn't matter, it's Katy Perry. Can you see that in the comic? No, but she'll be like, you know, whatever Katy Perry song is. What's the one I like right on the radio? Wide Awake, maybe? Is that Katy Perry? Be honest, you know. Someone knows.
You're right.
Wide Awake? All right. Wait, I know that. That's terrible. But you know, but I actually tell them what I'm seeing, and I would put maybe in the dialogue. Anyone know the words to Wide Awake?
Says like Wide Awake in it.
Okay, so I could say, you know, young girl, and then her dialogue is, you know, little musical notes. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake. Is that the song? I'm delirious, man. I could be like Metallic, Angel of Death, or something by Slayer. Welcome to the kingdom of the dead. You and I can sing that one. We are right. The family that slays together stays together. So. Then I'd say, you know, panel 3, you know, close-up shot of the zombie, you know, reaching out to the girl. The girl still doesn't see her, or see him, or it. And then, you know, zombie, colon, blah, you know, and then you just tell them what you want. But that being said, the artist may interpret that a little bit differently too, and see it better visually. But you actually lay out specifically, that's called a full script style. There's another style called Marvel script, or Marvel style, which you basically kind of write the story, and they break down the whole thing. I think that's more work for them, and I'm just not comfortable with them, kind of a control freak about it. I talk about that in the book too, kind of the pros and cons. But generally, I tell them how I see the story going, but I also give them the freedom if they want to change it, they can change it up as they wish.
This is Tommy Zimmer here at C2. I was just talking about C2
Watch Creative Continuity, COD Tunes, Con Rewind, Mr. Logo Does, and more on this channel.
Creative Continuity. We bring the convention to you.